Oh, excuse me.
It's live. Yeah, that's a good way to start the live stream.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm assuming it's. I'm. I don't know how to talk. I guess I'll talk in this camera like you're right here. Um.
It's,
Okay, so it's live. This is a Cerealboxd reviews. Today we're talking about Kangaroo Jack and Under the Skin, that great double feature.
oh God.
And I
Yeah.
wanted to start with Kangaroo Jack. Can you introduce it, Los?
Okay, so Kangaroo Jack. This came out in the early 2000s, especially early 2003. It was pretty much a comedy, a PG comedy that had I had history with it because it's been like heavily advertised when you watch I don't know, like a commercial or whatever during the early 2000s. And I have not watched it until this year, and I feel like I regret it.
So after I'll get into the plot of the movie and stuff, this movie has really interesting history to it, which I didn't know about. But anyways, so the plot of the movie is there's these two guys who are best friends. They knew each other since they were kids because the one Anthony Anderson, the black guy, saved. Well, I forgot the actor's name. That white guy that's been stuff. He's been stuff, but he saved him from drowning or whatever.
Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell, yeah, and he saves him, and they become after that because he saved his life. And Jerry O'Connell, whatever, works at a barber shop, and they what happened? I don't remember plot details. I was so distracted by this. So they steal money because.
No, because they were working with a crime boss.
Is a mob boss, Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stepped as a crime boss, a mobster, and I forgot what was the point of the money. I don't even remember what
the money was. He's supposed to deliver it to somebody, and then they have to go to Australia for some reason.
Yeah, because they escaped. Because remember they're on they were like fugitives or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they had they had extortion money or whatever. Was it something like that? They were money laundering. There's something like that. Yeah. And then Christopher Walken was doing his stepson and his best friend a favor. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get you out of the country somewhere really far away, which is Australia. Yeah. And they had the money there. No, they had some money with them. Mm-hmm. They gave him 40. There's 40. Was it like $400,000?
It was like It was like $50,000. Yeah.
Okay.
And they hit a. Didn't they hit a kangaroo?
In Australia, but and they call Kangaroo Jack, and they dress it up, and the kangaroo steals their money.
Yeah.
And then doesn't someone else part of the crime family or some other that's there want the money, or something, or the money's not for them because they weren't supposed to open the envelope
Yeah.
because I don't remember. I don't know, dude. The plot is just the
It's
plot
just
and the tone of the movie all over the place.
yeah. So like, there's some dude who like I think is like a cousin of Jerry. That he wanted to kill him for some reason, and then they go out and
Yeah,
they had to look for the kangaroo. So what they did is like they go to a random bar to like find like something like we need to find that kangaroo. I was like, all right, and then it's like the pilot's like, oh shit, where's the pilot? He's like drunk on the floor, passed out. I think like there's some
yeah,
like
and
wildlife
then
like rescuer was there as well, like trying to help them catch that
yeah,
kangaroo. Yeah,
it yeah, and they just trying to the whole movie. They're just trying to catch the kangaroo that has their money.
yeah.
Uh, okay. I've seen this movie actually multiple times in my life,
Did you really?
and yeah, and I don't. Before I watched it the other day,
Yeah.
I every time I don't remember the plot of the movie at all. Like I don't really remember much about the movie. So I watched it when it first came out, like on DVD or something.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think I watched it another time at like my aunt's house 2 years after that, and then
Yeah.
a couple years after that, I think I watched it at the same house,
Yeah.
and then I watched it. I think one time in middle school and one time in high school.
Really?
But every time I did not remember the plot of the movie,
Yeah.
and I remember always thinking how awful this movie was because there was barely any Kangaroo Jack in it.
Yeah, there's like one part.
Yeah, and and now I know the plot of the movie pretty much.
Yeah.
Now I've watched it in 2020 at the age of 21.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, this yeah, so this movie you might be wondering why the kangaroo's in it only like 2 scenes
Yeah.
and why the CGI on it's so awful. Remember they showed like the hallucinations or whatever, the dream sequence where
Yeah.
they're all like talking. It's really bad. So this movie is not the original movie. It's completely reshot, re-edited
Really?
because the original movie is called Down and Under, which is a adult crime comedy movie. Um, and it's the same plot pretty much, but what they did was they cut out all the cussing. There's a few here and there, but it's not that bad. Cussing. There's sex scenes. I think there was a lot of like maybe like drug references and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they cut out all of that because what happened was when they test screened the original movie, the audience was like, "We only like the Kangaroo," and then that's why they marketed it as the Kangaroo movie. Even
Oh.
though, so the Kangaroo. Okay, so um, the Kangaroo Jack, is a character in the movie. However, um, the whole movie wasn't marketed as a kangaroo movie. It was just like it was similar to like Rush Hour. It was a movie that was going to be similar to like Rush Hour,
Yeah.
and and which was a very popular thing in the 90s and like early 2000s. That kind of genre. It kind of started with like Lethal Weapon and that kind of thing, and that's why like when Cop Out came out, it was fucking stupid because that genre was kind of dead by then. But
Yeah.
Kangaroo Jack was supposed to be a part of that genre, which it kind of is already. But
Yeah.
it was supposed to be a straight up crime comedy movie, like the Rush Hour movies and stuff. And the plot, the gimmick was that the kangaroo steals their money, but the plot was not it was focused on that, but it wasn't marketed as a kangaroo movie. That was just part of the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
And when in the talking kangaroo scene, it was actually not CGI. It was actually animatronic. Now, I want this footage, the original movie, to be released because it's obviously is done. The movie's finished. I want to see the original Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah.
The adult version with like.
Yeah.
It might, it might not be a good movie, but I think it would be a better movie.
Yeah.
I think it would make, as an adult movie, I think it makes more sense than what we got.
Yeah. Because
there's a lot of stuff that they still have in there that's not even really like family orientated, but yeah, like the jokes, like remember that joke? Remember that where he's like hugging him at the end, crying. He's like, "We're having a really non-gay moment right now," or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's this part where when the cousins or whatever are holding them hostage, and they're walking in the desert, and the white guy has a good idea, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I have a sudden urge." He's referring to a sudden urge to do something about the situation. And then Anthony Anderson's like, yeah, we all get urges, okay? One time I was with this guy, and he gets cut off, which is obviously a gay sex joke.
Yeah.
That you just get sudden urges. So there's jokes like that were probably in the original movie. But in the original movie, the context, it would flow well. It would make sense. All those jokes would. But in here, they edited it down to make it like a family movie. But it's not really a family movie.
Yeah, because it's like, isn't it like PG? Like,
yeah,
and like
it was originally an R.
There's like
it was a rated R movie. They cut down to a PG movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this was
so
like
weird.
I think like. Wasn't like a scene in the airplane where like, oh, wow, well, that package was big. Let me kiss her, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where they're referring to the money.
Yeah. There's a lot of gay sex jokes, but in the original movie, it like flowed well. It made sense, but here it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't really flow with the rest of the movie. The type of comedy in the movie is very inconsistent. Even the beginning scenes, the first scene in the movie, the flashback scene, feels like a scene in like a family movie. Like it's shot for a family. It's weird. The whole movie's tone is off. And the music, let's talk about the music.
Oh, God.
It's this music that's just trying to sound like Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
But there's no variety. It's just that same beat. It's not a Dr. Dre beat, but it's like a Dr. Dre type beat. It just goes...
Yeah, when like the kangaroo shows up, it's like, what the fuck? It's like every scene where you will hear that same song over and over again to the point like, all right, we'll get the joke. All right.
Yeah. This movie I didn't think was as horrible as I remember it being.
Yeah.
But it's not a good movie at all.
Yeah,
but it's not a painful. I didn't find it painful to sit through. I don't know. It's just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie. What I do like about the movie, when I watched this movie, I was like, "Damn, this movie actually looks old now." And the movie, this movie is very much a product of its time. They don't make movies like this anymore. This is when they used to take risks on like weird movies and stuff. But yeah. Anything else you want to say about it?
This movie was like, when I heard about this movie, this is my first time ever watching this movie. But I remember at the time when I was younger, they heavily advertised the kangaroo.
Yeah. I don't think I remember the. I'm trying to remember, I don't know if I remember the TV spots or trailers, but I do remember this movie at all the rental stores. They really did push this movie. I remember the Kangaroo Jack poster, seen that places.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think I did. I don't think I saw this movie. I didn't see this movie in the theaters, but I think my sister did, and I think she watched this movie while I was watching some other movie. We did that a long time ago. Me and my dad would see a movie, and then her and my mom would see a movie, and I think that did happen one time. I think I didn't see this movie in the theaters, but I think that happened. I don't know what other movie I saw that year, but yeah, but yeah, this movie was. I remember like the posters being in like the blockbusters, the Hollywood videos, which don't exist anymore,
Yeah.
and that kind of which actually I don't know why I said because both don't exist anymore, but yeah, I remember this movie being heavily advertised. Um, yeah. Any thoughts? Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, what would you rate this movie?
Um, it's a really bad movie, but it entertained me a bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll give it a 2 out of 10.
I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So on to the next movie, which is the polar opposite of Kangaroo Jack, which is Under the Skin. This
Yeah.
movie came out in 2013. It was 2013. A lot of sources say 2014, but it was actually 2013 is when it was first screened. So I say that's the actual release date. Uh, Under the Skin. I'm gonna spoil it because this movie's been out for years, and people that click on this video that is looking for Under Skin review knows what it is, and people that have heard of it pretty much already know the plot of the movie already at this point. So I'm gonna spoil it. Under Skin came out in 2013. Has Scarlett Johansson. It's directed by what's his name that did Sexy Beast, and he directed some music videos in the 90s and 2000s. He still does music videos and stuff. But this movie is about, well, there isn't really a plot. I would say plot, a strong plot. So I'm just gonna spoil it right now. Scarlett Johansson's an alien, and she's pretty much going around Scotland to seduce men, and pretty much you don't know what happens to them. Either they die, they get abducted, they turn into something else. You don't know, and so yeah, that happens, and yeah, that's kind of the movie. She just kind of travels around Scotland. And fun fact about the Scottish actors, a lot of the Scots in this movie are like actual, not actors, they're actual locals. And some of the scenes, not all of them, some of them didn't know they were being filmed, and so it has that effect. And yeah, what did you think of the movie?
I think it was. I think it was a bit weird. Bit mysterious. Not weird, but I think mysterious in a way.
It was weird. It's weird. It's both.
Yeah. Um, I think I told you like what it reminded me of. Like it reminded me of the brown bunny in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought
Yeah.
months ago. I months ago I had that realization as well. I was like, this movie, it's just the same. It's not the same movie, but it has the same plot. It has the same plot beats as the Brown Bunny. And the Brown Bunny the same way as where I was to say it. It has a plot, but it's not a strong. I would say strong plot. A strong plot is a movie where it has a very clear beginning, middle, end. This person does this, therefore they do that. Blah 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 blah. Then they end up here at the end. That's kind of what I consider a strong plot, and there's character conflicts and that kind of thing. Both of those movies are not really strong plots. Where there is a plot, but it's more loose. It's a lot of driving around, that kind of thing, and picking up people to seduce and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which happens in both movies. And like I said, why I compare it to that movie is because it begins with a motorcycle scene.
Yeah.
It so the movie they pick up people usually for sexual reasons, and they're lonely and stuff, and at the end there's a sex scene, and where both actors who have never been nude before on camera both expose themselves, and the original ending of the Brown Bunny, I could be wrong about this. I've read this in an old Brown Bunny review when it came out. The original theatrical ending of the Brown Bunny, the main character dies. Gets in a car accident or whatever, and the character in this dies, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, we're not talking about Brown Bunny, but we're talking about Under the Skin.
Yeah.
But I'm just comparing it. But so the beginning of the movie is definitely very mysterious. When I actually first watched it, I don't know. When I first watched the scene, I didn't know what was going on, and it actually made me uncomfortable, which rarely ever does a movie do that to me. And some of the visuals reminded me of that George Lucas's first movie, THX 1138, the White Room thing, and how the people are. She's filtered. It's not her. It's not black and white, but it's like a negative filter. And then and there's this other dude too that always appears, the motorcycle guy, but in the book. So this is based on a book, but the movie's nothing like the book. The book is actually very plot heavy. Explains things. So the book is it's these alien couple that go around picking up people, but they cut out the dude's plot, and the motorcycle guy is supposed to be that dude, but you never see his side. You just focus on her. So yeah, they go around. She goes around seducing people, and when they do, they always go in this black room.
Yeah.
They always strip down. They don't even think of anything. They just go, and then they sink through the floor.
Yeah.
Like water.
And
then they they pop like a balloon.
Yeah, it's like they get compressed and deleted.
I know. Oh my god. Yeah, it's pretty out there. So yeah, and then at the end of the movie, she's doing all that stuff. At the end, that one dude takes her to his place, attempts to have sex, but she doesn't really know. She doesn't really understand because she's an alien and stuff. And then she goes into the woods, and this dude, like, what do you call it? Not construction worker, maybe construction worker.
Like a forest worker.
Tries raping her, and then she escapes. I forgot how she caught on fire.
I think she was like fully like stripped, and then the guy saw like there was black stuff on her, and she started to rip up the
Oh yeah,
skin.
because that's her actual form. Her actual form is
Yeah.
that black thing, and then she burned up in the woods, and that's how the movie is.
No, because the guy grabbed like a gas like the gasoline thing all over her, and then puts it on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie ends, and the best thing in this movie, in my opinion, and everybody says it, is the music is really good.
Yeah, it was.
And especially the ending song. Yeah, the music's really good. And a lot of things are really good about it, cinematography and that kind of stuff. The funny thing is, I think it's funny, like a lot of the scenes, like the Scottish people, you don't even know what they're saying half the time. They're so Scottish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recommend this movie because I'm doing I want to talk about I made a list but I deleted it, but I'm remaking my best movies of the decade list, and so I'm rewatching everything from the last 10 years everything that I considered above average, and this was one of the movies. I don't like it as so. I watched this movie 2 times.
Yeah.
3 times, I think, actually. I don't like it as much as I did the first time. I still think it's a great movie, but I don't like it as much. It's a lot better experience for me to watch it the first time. I don't know. It was a lot better experience because I think it was very fresh and new. But now that I know everything that happens, it's not as much of a great experience. I don't know.
Right.
It's great. It's a good movie still, but it's not as great. Novelty wears off over time, I guess. But yeah. Have anything else to say about it?
I mean, it was good, right? You know, it was my first time watching it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I guess I'll rate it. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
I'd as well 8 out of 10.
I think I originally gave it a 9, but it's not as much for me. It's not as good. Kind of the same with Drive. I've always really liked that movie for the longest time. I gave it a perfect score, but until recently, I dropped it to a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because it's not as novel as it was when it came out. So yeah. So on these videos, we've been just recommending movies and stuff, and I've been, like I said, I've been recommending movies from the last 10 years. I think were the best, and we're gonna take a break from that because we're going into October.
Yeah.
Which is Halloween month,
spooky season,
and and I want to talk about horror and Halloween related movies, and so yeah, and you were gonna recommend one Halloween movie.
Uh,
Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember.
I remember it's. I remember because I was keep track of these things. It was
Oh.
Paranorman.
Oh, right.
Unless you want to recommend something else. Unless you want
No,
to
that'd be
recommend
fine.
something else.
I don't know. I guess
Paranorman.
that would work. Sure, yeah.
Let's do Paranorman. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been a Cerealboxd reviews.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See
Maybe.
ya. See you later, alligator.
Yep.
Spooky.
How the fuck do you end this? End live broadcast.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think it's still live.